With an American guy, I felt for the first time. I've been with an Australian and an Irish guy. I've dated men from Canada, Sweden, Spain, and Australia. The Canadian was kind of... So I found this website called girlschannel.net, which is a forum where Japanese girls talk to each other. It uses an upvote system similar to Reddit, but comments are still shown in chronological order. Let's check out a few different threads. Have you ever shocked a foreigner? My bad teeth shocked a foreigner once. They often say we're too careless about the alignment of our teeth, their color, and our breath, huh? I know of someone who, when studying in America, was asked, "Why didn't you fix those when you were young?" It makes them think you grew up poor. Apparently this person didn't have that bad teeth for a Japanese person either. I saw a YouTuber who could speak Japanese say the following: Japanese people are sensitive to body odor but indifferent towards bad breath. Foreigners are sensitive to bad breath but indifferent towards body odor. Remember that foreigner means basically anyone not from Japan, but generally they're talking about, Western people. Japanalysis personal opinion time, but I think this is pretty true. Personally, I pay significant attention to both my body odor and my breath, but any English teacher in Japan who taught adult classes will tell you that it's quite common for students to have bad breath. Salaryman coffee breath is a famous stereotype among the foreign community, and I'm certainly not the only foreign guy who has noticed otherwise extremely well-kept girls' bad breath after kissing them. Body odor is definitely less of a problem in Japan, but that's also partially due to a gene that is quite prevalent in Asia, causing people to have both dry earwax and relatively odorless armpits. The yellow area on the map is where the gene is found more commonly. Back to Girls Channel, another response is about age. When I was abroad in Saipan, I remember people thinking I was 12 or 13 years old. When I told them I was 20, they were shocked. Japanese people just look younger, I guess. My coworker in her 40s was apparently mistaken for being underage at a Vegas casino. She's 150 centimeters tall though. When I was around 20 years old and shopping in America, the cashier was worried if I had enough money to pay and if I knew how to get home. It was like I was a 12-year-old out on her own. At a museum in Germany, I was given an 18 and under ticket at age 24. Quite a few people in this thread think it has to do with Japan's relatively high humidity inhibiting the development of wrinkles, in addition to their aversion to strong UV light. Once, my foreign coworker asked me, "Where can I go to meet ninjas?" To which I replied, "Ninjas aren't around anymore." But then I moved my head a little closer to him and whispered, "Ninjas must keep their identity secret, and there's probably one at our work right now." To which his face turned a mixture of shocked and excited. That was apparently a famous copy-paste story, but I couldn't find it anywhere else word for word, so it's probably been rewritten. They're shocked that we drink cold tea without any sugar. For context, Japanese people find small faces attractive on women. Apparently, they don't understand why we find small faces attractive. I was once told, "Your cute face is so big and lovely." In America, being small-headed is an insult, like your brain is smaller, so you're dumb or whatever. I brought a foreign friend to my family gathering. When going to leave, after I said "see you later" to my family and started walking to the station, they were super puzzled and asked me, "Why don't you hug your family when you say goodbye?" My university program had a lot of foreign students, and the non-Korean ones at least were always surprised by us talking about blood types. Most of them didn't even know their blood type. They didn't understand how we could use that kind of medical data to evaluate our personalities or our romantic capability. Japanalysis note: most of you already know this, but if you didn't, Japanese people, and I have no idea, but according to the post we just read, Koreans too, are obsessed with blood type. It's like astrological signs for them. They'll say stuff like, "You would say that, you're such a B type," or whatever. In Japanese fiction, characters are often given blood types. Hey, I know you saw the thumbnail and you clicked on it, so even though my channel doesn't generally do this kind of content, I gotta fulfill my promise. Let's go. But before we talk about it, let's talk about Girls Channel in general. Naturally, you might be doubting that it's legitimately all women on this website, right? Well, there's actually no data on its user base, but the users themselves do speculate on it a lot. In this thread, where the users themselves were estimating what percentage of users were secretly men, most people guessed between 15 to 30%, which is quite low, I guess, so that's good. Alright, so the first thing that they all mention is how foreign guys always call them baby. If you're not used to it, it probably is weird to be called baby. Body odor issues come up a lot in this thread too. And now we get to the big issue. I've heard this before from a few of my Japanese friends, but I always thought it was just a joke. It turns out, at least on the Japanese internet, everyone, even women, are fully convinced that, although they might not be as big, Japanese men's genitals are simply harder than foreigners' soft, wet noodles. I think it must come from some sort of inferiority complex. The statistics on size are well known in Japan, and they're kind of obsessed with dicks. Honestly, you know what? We have to transition for a second. We'll get back to this in a minute. In every video I tell a personal story at the end, but this time I have to put it right here because of context. Holy fuck, this is one of the most annoying parts of trying to make Japanese guy friends. Man, you can tell I'm annoyed just thinking about it. I never thought this would be my personal story, but every Japanese guy I'd meet would eventually ask about my size. Yes, guys I considered friends would eventually work up the courage to ask, but even strangers had no inhibitions. I used to go to the clubs and bars a lot in Osaka, at least once a week I'd say, and I'm serious, every time I'd bump into another drunk guy and start talking for even 30 seconds, he'd point at my crotch and say something like, "Are you big? I'm very small, but very hard," or something like that. In my last video I mentioned my Australian friend Gary. We'd go clubbing together, and whenever we met a new guy, we had a game to see how long it would take them to ask about our sizes. If we finished the interaction without them asking, they won, but they almost never did. They are obsessed with it. There are some extrinsic factors I should let you know about. Neither of us are gay, nor do we give out a gay vibe necessarily. We didn't go to gay clubs, we're both white, and I'm 194 centimeters tall and he's 180. We were in Osaka, and I don't doubt it does happen there more than elsewhere, but still. By the way, I asked my friend who lived in China for 3 years if it's like that there. So Jack, do Chinese people ever ask about your dick size?
Fuck no. I've never had that question asked to me in 3 years of living there.
In my case, I've been asked at least 20 times for sure, and Jack parties and drinks certainly more than me. Alright, so anyways, let's get back to the core issue. They think that they are hard and we are soft. That is the most common theme in this entire thread. When I see them in videos, they're so soft. Can they easily get it in? 319 upvotes. It doesn't go in straight. It gets squeezed in all windy and bendy. 286 upvotes. True, they're erect but kind of soft, like a chikuwa, which is this. Yeah, my friend said an American she was with was kind of wriggling like a snake. 208 upvotes. Like this? With this wiggly character. Why are foreigners so soft? When we are young, we are very hard. I guess we get soft like them when we're older though. When I was with an American, it was like a takuan. I was wondering when it would get hard. 226 upvotes. Is it true that white guys' thing is soft? I dated a French guy who was 190 centimeters tall. He was long but soft. My American husband is hard like normal. I stopped believing in this theory. A British guy I dated was around the same hardness as a Japanese guy. I think it depends on the person. My friend who was with a German guy said it was soft. Like, what is going on? I thought this had to be a rumor that Japanese men perpetuated to make themselves feel better, but they've somehow convinced women that it's true too? They convince themselves of other stuff too. This might surprise you. Japanese people think their intestine is longer than other races. This has been a long-standing, very popular Japanese myth for decades. It was disproven in 2013 by Japanese scientists themselves, but it doesn't matter. A lot of them still believe it. Do you remember when they insisted on domestic clinical trials before they would vaccinate their population last year, even though there was certainly widespread testing data from other Asian populations? They legitimately believe that they are genetically different to everyone else in the world, even the rest of Asia. There are so many examples of this, but I'm not going to get too much into it today because I don't want to sidetrack the video. This is about Girls' Channel. This kind of stuff is quite infuriating though. With an American guy, I felt my body go numb for the first time. I've been with an Australian and an Irish guy while I was drunk. They were really big. I've dated men from Canada, Sweden, Spain, and Australia. The Canadian was kind of the perfect mix of a Japanese guy and a foreign guy's good qualities. It was really enjoyable. I didn't enjoy it because of the language. It felt like I was watching a foreign adult video. He kept saying like, oh my, and fuck, and it felt weird. I couldn't concentrate. I wonder if it would be different with a guy in Japan who speaks Japanese. People speak in their native language when they're emotional. If they were speaking in broken Japanese, you'd probably still not enjoy it. If someone said, oh my to me, I would think of spaghetti and start laughing, lol. This one is too descriptive to read on my channel, but she says she slept with her American friend and she's not sure if it's because he's American, but he was so good. It felt like he really cared about her and treated her right, like a true lover, she says. I've been with a Chinese guy, and it was completely normal, but he made really good food for me though. Me too. Why do they make food for us? In China, it's common for guys to make food.
Yeah, I can confirm that it's pretty common for Chinese guys to cook food for their girlfriends, I guess, and pretty much everyone. They like to cook.
I was with an Italian. It was like a rich French full-course experience. It lasted a while, and afterwards I was completely entranced. Anyways, there's hundreds and hundreds more posts in this thread. I'm not even a third of the way through, and this thread is part 7 of 7. But I think that's enough for today. This is YouTube after all, and there is another thread I wanted to cover. I found a dating app on my husband's phone. He left it out playing music and fell asleep, and when I opened it, it was on the Tinder screen. He had been using it for 3 months apparently, and his profile said he was never married. It seems like he'd been going out for drives and stuff with other women. I was astonished. We have a 1-year-old daughter, so I'm not considering divorce yet, but I'm looking up settlements and child support and stuff. I might confront him tomorrow about it. The replies are tons of comments all echoing similar themes. It's like he doesn't consider the child at all. You should break up. If you're gonna divorce, you shouldn't tell him why. You should just make him sweat. Make sure to save evidence. I'll sign up to Tinder and catfish him for you. If he's going for drives with them, he's definitely on the hunt. Unfortunately, it's near impossible to find updates from the original poster on Girl's channel because everything is anonymous, but it was cool for me to see everyone unanimously giving good advice. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next week for another meme review.